Hi, gosh, welcome internet. Welcome to Between Art and Innovation. This is photography in the AI world. My name is Lisa Devlin. I'm here because I run something in the UK called Photography Farm, but I'm also a working photographer. I shoot weddings and editorial. I've actually been a photographer for over 30 years now. So when I first began, cameras were entirely mechanical. So I think by the end of today, if I can understand all of this tech, then anyone can. So also we have Yotam and Amir. So Yotam is from Imagen and Amir is from Pic-Time. I'm a brand ambassador for both of these companies, so that's another reason why I'm here. And this is the first time I've hosted a webinar, and it's the first time that they've all been on one. So if there were a few little niggles along the way, please forgive us. And we've also got Scott here, who's looking after us behind the scenes. We will have a Q&A right at the end for you. So keep your questions coming in. We'll keep an eye on them, and we're going to ask them towards the end of the session here today. So yeah, I'm just going to introduce both companies. So basically Imagen is AI-powered software aiding professional photographers in their photo editing workflows to help save both time and money and get accurate and consistent results without compromising on either quality or unique editing style. Now, lots of us have been really enjoying the benefits of using Imagen over the last year. And some of the photographers that I mentor have started to say to me, you know, I don't think I ever need to learn Lightroom, and I'm not mad about it. So thank you, Imagen, for all that you have done. Also, Pic-Time. So if you don't know what Pic-Time is yet, Pic-Time is a wonderful platform for professional photographers to make the most of your images online, creating beautiful galleries, both for your work and as an art gallery in an online space as well. There's a beautiful built-in store, a really fun slideshow creator, and a brand new blogs feature as well. So world domination is on the cards. Okay, so thank you and welcome to everyone that has tuned in and is joining us today. And my first question is,
Great.
so
I just want to
AI.
say thank you, Lisa, for being with us and for agreeing to host this webinar. And thank you for Pic-Time for having us in this. I guess anyone who knows Pic-Time can actually see that this is Pic-Time's place. Like everything is really Pic-Time in the background. So thank you for having us. And thank you for the lovely introduction.
Yep, I'm joining that.
Yeah, Pic-Time is officially a word, by the way. So AI, talk to us, guys. All right, because obviously I'm here as the eye candy. You are here for the geek speak. So in regular sort of terms that any of us are going to understand, please explain.
Yeah.
Okay, so AI is basically something that started. I mean, the idea was thought about maybe 50 or 60 years ago. It actually started to be successful and to give actual good results in about 10 years ago. A couple of things that made it happen, including like amazing improvement of computers and companies that actually were tagging a lot of data. But eventually, the big thing about AI is that you don't have to code everything. You don't have to teach the computer if something happened, then do that. If something else happened, do that. You just show it a big data set of examples, and the AI can learn by itself. And that's something generic for the entire AI family of algorithms, that you can actually show it examples and expect it to understand things by itself. And I always compare it to the way you teach a kid how to differentiate between a cat and a dog. So once you show a kid enough examples of cats or enough examples of dogs, the kid can actually understand if this is a cat or a dog. You don't need to tell him a cat has, this type of ears, or a dog has this kind of fur. The kid just sees enough dogs and cats and knows how to differentiate. So the same goes for AI, and that's the big thing, and that's the reason I a couple of years ago decided to quit my job and go back to university and study AI, because it really is an amazing field, and it can do magic.
Yeah. For me, I'll take it from the other side, AI. So Yotam explained why these algorithms of AI are different from other traditional analytical algorithms. But for the end user, AI is just the same thing as all the automation, the other automations we have in life. It just opens up a spectrum of more complicated automations and more advanced fields, capabilities that we can use automations inside with.
Yep.
We can't hear Lisa.
Lisa, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
Oh.
It keeps muting me. Okay, I'm fine.
Good.
I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you. I told you this was our first
So that
time.
I hear you with like so many cables, so many things just to operate this. So many things go wrong. We ask for forgiveness for our listeners.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I think some people were having problems hearing us all together. So hopefully the tech side has been sorted out and Scott is looking after us all. So yeah, we're just going to talk nice and clear and loud for everyone. Right. So thank you. Starting to understand it a little bit better. But with AI helping photographers power parts of their businesses, how do we maintain that human touch throughout all of this?
Amir, me? So the way we see that and the way I see AI at the moment, and there's all these like scary sci-fi movies about like, AI taking over the world and AI doing things that, so I think that we are very, very far from anything like that happening. And basically the one part that AI cannot take over is creativity. And in Imagen, we put ourselves a goal to, take everything which is repetitive, tedious, that you don't like doing, and replace that. But leave your time for the creative part. So make sure that you have more time to focus on the creative part. You have more time to focus on what you really like, and what you really like can be either shooting more, or it could be spending more time on the final touches of editing, or it can be spending more time with your family. But the creativity part of the job, in my opinion, would never be lost to AI.
I think that this question it relates to any modernization that we're experiencing in probably forever, but definitely in the recent years. Things we do keep changing when new technology comes in. For photographers, a lot of things changed in the last 100 years or more. How long is photography?
Well, 32 years.
So things change. In the past, in order to take a photo, you had to be a chemist, engineer, and it was the miracle of being able to take the photo. And suddenly it shifted. The focus of what does it mean to be a photographer moved from the engineering part more to the artistic parts, I think. So I think when we look forward, Yotam said about the tedious things, and I agree, it's the tedious thing, but sometimes it will also be other part. But I think that anything that can be automated will be automated. And I think for us, it's an opportunity to build on top of it. It brings us to a new place. So think about it that when you were shooting film, you had some, and Nirit may argue about that, but you had some flexibility of what the end result will be. But a lot of it was, there was this touch that the split of a second that you did something, and there was some ability to influence after that, but it was sometimes in the lab and so on. So you had limited capabilities now. So digital photography, did it reduce creativity or increased it? Because it gave you tools now to manipulate or to bring
to accurately
to make it what?
To make it more precise.
To make it more precise what you want. So if you know where you want to go, these tools may help you get there. So if I'll go on what you do with editing photos automatically, it brings it to a specific level, and now I can go as a photographer, and the same amount of time that I had, I can take and focus on bringing it to something very specific. But I don't have to do, a lot of time is saved from not needing to do a big part of the job that can be automated. So I think everything that can be automated will be automated. It's not up to us, but there's always the place for us as humans to bring the new creativity, the new level. And
yeah, I think that's very right. And I think that, thing that we didn't even think we can get to, because we were always under a tight deadline to deliver the photos for a wedding. Now we have the time, and we can think about creative parts that we didn't even think about before. So I'm just waiting to see what comes next.
And the creativity, or it's not always the creativity. Sometimes it can be the work of doing something, but you have a time to focus in when the automation gives you the freedom of choosing whether your time or mind goes into things that can be automated, but you want to make them handmade. It's part of what you bring to the table, or you can start from that and add another level, another layer.
I think what you're talking about there is, when I started, I was a music industry photographer, and most of the time you would only have to, for a magazine story, you're looking at delivering 20 photos. For weddings, you're looking at delivering several hundred. So it's interesting that you've ended up being so connected with wedding photographers, because I think they are driving this technology just from the sheer amount of volume that wedding photographers shoot. And there's nobody delivering 800 photos that are all hand finessed. But yeah, for me, it used to be a case of shooting a wedding on film, and the lab would come and collect that film and deliver it back a few days later. And in between sort of my week was a little bit of admin, but a lot of skipping around town having frappuccinos with my friends. So when I switched to being a digital wedding photographer after 10 years of shooting weddings on film, I didn't, that's the part of the industry that I've always never really loved, sitting here editing hundreds of photos. So my thing was to be, really fast at it, because I hate it so much. I just want it to be over and done with. But of course, now this is, as you said, giving us space to have a bit more creative freedom. And it's an exciting time to think what's going to happen next. Where's it all going to go? So leads me on to the next question, which is, what does it mean to be a professional photographer in a world where automations are making photography more accessible, maybe for people who are not currently professional photographers?
I think this is one of the most interesting things when you look on trends in the photography, because today everybody are photographers, right? So in a lot of cases you ask, what does it mean? Why do you need a professional photographer? You see that in other places where people are asking it. But I think that, as I said before, the challenge moved from being able to produce a photo than to produce the right photo, the good photo. And I think that somebody that's doing things professionally is still, you can see that. You can see the photos are taken in a different way, and you can see that they are, they have a different flavor to it. And people still, for major parts of, or for important events of life or business, they will take photographers. I think that when you do, a photographer comes with an intention. with it's people that have this touch, and I just say the eye needs to learn to listen
before it looks.
Before it looks, yeah. So photographers have sensitivity to the visual aspects, have different sensitivity than most people. So I think there's still always the room for people to do things professionally. But definitely it is creating a challenge for photographers. They need to develop from that the next level. So the container of how the photos are served, it's not only the photo itself, it's the whole atmosphere around it. When you deliver it, this is the thing that we deal with it, like the stage for the photos. Sometimes you'll eat good food, but if it's not in a good restaurant, you won't even notice it. Like you'll just grab and throw it in your mouth. So I think that the professional is photographer will be around experience around the photos. We'll start with the photos, with how it's framed, how it's styled, the line that goes in the visual line that goes across the whole set, but also in the way they are packaged and delivered to you.
Yeah, like as we mentioned before, like you said, like if a new photographer is joining, like is becoming a photographer today, then he would need to know less about Lightroom, hopefully. It would need to know less about everything that is already automated, and can focus more on anything that is really differentiating him or her as a photographer. And again, that's coming back to the creative part. So like, and I know about myself, I'm not a photographer, and every time I take a photo of my partner, he's very mad at me for being a very bad photographer. So there's a lot about seeing the composition, seeing the photo, and as technology advances and as technology becomes better, the qualities that make you a good photographer would actually become much more important and visible.
Okay. This is fascinating, by the way, all of this. It's quite mind-blowing. So thinking about perfect post-production, like the end goal of that, like what could potentially perfect post-production workflow look like?
Go ahead.
So post-production, the work. So again, for the photographer, it would be, I think that a lot of it ties back to where the photographer wants to add his specific value, because there's so many things. We're talking about professional photographers, so it's also business. So there's the thing that you say, this is my differentiator, but then you need to do a lot of things that are not your differentiator, but you still need to do because it's a business. I think that a lot of it goes from the beginning of understanding for yourself, where is the place that this is your mark. This is the place where you invest time, and everything that around it, and it can be automated to the given level, will be automated. So it will go from to take the photos, aids to take the photos, edit the photos, call the photos, deliver the photos, communication with your clients, and then repurposing it for products and also for marketing. So there's a lot of things that are going on around the photos, and I think that we're going to see a lot of automation, but there's a lot of room for people either to be very precise about their specific tone in the photo, the specific frame, so they can set the language they deliver the photo, and of course there's always the people that the people that are more relaxed and will focus on the tone, and the people that will make things wild and change. And so I just had a conversation with a photographer. Maybe I'm a little bit deviating, but I'll
go ahead. It's interesting.
Yeah, with a photographer.
Just Lisa, can you hear us well? We hear some strange noises.
Yeah, we hear all the time noises.
Yeah.
No? Okay, now it stopped.
Stop.
Okay.
That's just my husband starting some DIY next door.
So
he's trying to be really
I had a
quiet.
discussion with a photographer trying to help him create a specific project. He's doing sessions of 1 minute mini sessions. Like people come
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay.
So people fly for that.
For 1 minute.
Yeah, 100 sessions a day, and people stand in line. They go in. He's shooting with a lot of automation. Now this is something that goes. He took creativity to a different place. He's playing with the lighting, so he's making super fast captures, exposures, and the lighting is changed. It creates a set of 60 to 100 totally different photos from the same scene, but you move for models. And I saw a few examples. It is very impressive. It's something new.
Yeah,
it's something totally new. So you'll have this where people will build on something which is totally new that's coming out of the photos, but still there'll be the photography sets that are much more precise and accurate with the tone and with the colors. So I think going back to it will be that people will be able to focus more, to bring more of their creativity, their specific capabilities, because a lot of other stuff will be taken care by the machine.
That's really precise. And I just want to add that when we started Imagen, we saw a poll that was taken between different photographers on which task do they spend the most time. So like maybe 45% were saying editing, then maybe 20% said culling, 20% more said most time-consuming task is marketing. And I think that about 5% of the people said that the most time-consuming task is actually shooting. So I think we are on a mission to, if we're speaking about the perfect workflow for photographers.
They have the perfect workflow, these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you want to increase this pie chart to be 100% of the photographers are spending most of their time on shooting, and technology is taking care for the rest as much as it can.
Sounds good to me.
I'll debate that.
Okay, not everything.
Yeah,
I was
because
a little bit hesitated because there is creativity in the other parts also.
So I think that yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of room. And again, if for you as a business, it's only about taking the photos, yes. But if it's about connection with your clients and I heard a lot then you want to have some kind of room for that, to think how this area is optimized and getting the uniqueness elements to it. And also in the editing, for example, you can automate, but then I can spend the same amount of time, you didn't save me anything, but now I'm having much more time to spend on very specific photos that I really want. So it doesn't have to be a time saver. It can be just getting me to a better place, to get a better result. So, I think. I agree. You have time to. You have place to decide where you want to spend your creativity time. Yes, helping you get to a more precise or something that the end result that you want to achieve. Whether it's the photo, the container, the relationship with the client, the story around it. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah. And just one last side note, you mentioned like emails and stuff like that. I don't know if you got to a chance to play with the ChatGPT. It was released like 2 days ago. It's amazing.
I didn't hear about it.
Okay, so it's something from OpenAI, which is like a big research company. Yeah. Developed something with a lot of data, text data. So today I just asked it, can you write a promotional or marketing emails for me as a wedding photographer? And it just wrote an amazing email. And then you can refine it and say, I want like this email to be a little funny. And it really puts on some, jokes inside. So
these are definitely very interesting technologies relating to our space. But again, you can decide whether you want to write the letter to each customer on each
Exactly.
interaction and for each thing, or you can skip some of it. Yeah.
Wow. I was reading an article this morning about AI, but it was written by AI. That's like
there are lots of things. There's interviews with all kinds of dead people that you can read, which are really fascinating, and it can help with all kinds of situations where in text, yes, for example, in blogs, a lot of people that we're just digging into that, we're going to launch it. So said that one of the heavy task for them around blogs is writing the text. So there's a lot of things that we will see coming into this type of spaces.
In the future, it won't be us sitting here, but AI.
There are lots of work about AI programming as well, yes.
Well, listen, lots of people are chatting and asking us questions. So just let anyone who didn't join us right from the beginning know that we're going to do a little Q&A right at the end. So keep the questions coming. Scott is kindly curating them for me to ask you guys at the end. There's lots coming in. So the skill set that's required from sort of modern photography, is it changing as this technology advances? You know, you're talking to someone who remembers when Photoshop first came out and it was like, oh, photos are going to be so fake now, and there was such a hoo-ha about Photoshop, and it feels like a similar time now. So in terms of what photographers bring, you know, the barriers when you first start and the skills that are required, is that changing now?
Changing all the time. It's like, but not only for photographers, for all of us living in this era. But yes, of course, photographers, I think that I just mentioned, like moving from film to digital, like, and cameras will keep on changing. Today we have this that you click, it shoots lots of photos, and now the challenge is just to select what is the best photo from this. So the challenge moved to another place, and there, in our space is the ability to kind of understand how you want to approach somebody, but not approaching them. So it's very easy when I'm sitting with Yotam and say, hey, hi, and we're doing this. But when I need to do this on a virtual level, that somebody, this I'm talking now about our world of the online, and when people come in, this handshake, they need to understand what does it mean for the user when they get this handshake, and how much effort to put on the precise direction of the hand, or if it's not so important, if the fact that you're there. So I think that understanding this communication, which is fragmented, like for example, we were used to, this is maybe also a little bit off topic, but we got used to speak to somebody to look in the eyes, right? You speak to somebody, but now also when we speak to you, it's kind of the camera is here, the screen is there. We're now getting used to more and more, and the kids even and much more, to speak with people and not looking in the eyes. It's a different skill set because you're missing things, you're getting other things. You can chat and when you speak. So I think photographers, at least from the places we go to, I think we'll have to understand a little bit about this interaction, which is not just face-to-face with the customer. How is it? And already photographers are doing great part of it, right? Everybody are active in social media, everybody are active galleries and so on. So it's already happening. But I think more and more of the business will move to this virtual world, and you'll need to understand the mechanics there. And that's my.
I can say that.
Okay.
I think that photographers, will need to try and understand how to make technology work for them. So you have to, not resist to technology. After all, like, digital editing have been here for not so long, like maybe, as you said, like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I don't know. So we shouldn't resist the change. We should learn how to adopt it and how to get it to work for us, and again, focus on the stuff that we want to do.
Okay. But are we quite relatively soon, are we going to get to a point where photographers are entering the industry with an AI generated portfolio? You know, if I decide I want to be a destination wedding photographer, do I have to bother flying to destinations and building my portfolio that way? Or am I just going to sit here with my keyboard and generate an amazing portfolio, then start selling myself as an international jet-setting destination wedding photographer?
That's a good question. I think that at this point, this is a really new technology. And until now, I didn't see anything which is realistic enough to actually, get you from, actually flying to a place to shoot it. But it's more like, it's less realistic. So I don't think, I think there will ever be like more realistic parts of shooting, more documentary part of shooting. That you actually want to capture the moment and you want to capture important moments for a specific person. And there will also be an option to generate photos out of, based on millions of photos and the knowledge the AI is actually gained. And we actually see like stock services offering to generate photos based on that or to alter photos based on that. But I think for the realistic documentary part, it will take a lot of time, if ever, to actually replace, actually being on the scene, shooting the people in real life, and just catching the moment.
I think the quality is just a matter of time, right? We know that the quality will get we'll have it.
It will look realistic, but
we'll have. I think the question is, what's the purpose of the photography? I'm sure this discussion happened when photography came and painters said, "Oh, what's going to happen?" So definitely, some of the portrait painting world was not did not have a future, and then other parts emerged.
Maybe now it's the revenge of the
painters.
The
painters, yes, actually. It's a different form. Like, if people will, I think the question is about generated. What does it mean, generated imagery? But as destination photographer, if you go and do, you can do it today. Like, you can take someone else's photo and say it's yours, right? If your portfolio will be from generated photo, then you're just imitating something. You're presenting something that is not yours. So I don't think that may be, but this is people that are lying. It's not really. I think that's not a major thing. A major thing. What would be this part in photography? And I think it's not really photography. It's another form of art. It can be art. Right now, it doesn't look like art because we say the computer is doing something, but everything we do is based on tools that we use. The camera is a tool. The painters use paints that are tools. In the past, painters made their own colors. So it's another form. It's another form of expression that will emerge. I don't think it's photography. Photography speaks about a genuine perspective on something, right? It's on something that happened and you capture it. Of course, you want to give it a perspective. You want to frame it in a specific way, but the power of it, that it's something that happened. It's real, right? Sometimes you'll see a photo that looks like a painting and you'll say, wow. But if you know it's a painting, you say, right? Because if you know that this really was a real life situation and the photographer managed to make something very abstract out of it. It has a different power. The power is, I don't know, it's like going on a trip. You can be in a specific landscape. If it's 2 kilometers from your house, it will feel something. And if it's 1,000 miles from your house, it will feel totally different, but it's the same scenery, because the context around something is very important. The context around the photo and how the photo is presented. In this case, it's the context of what we. It is laughing that I'm swallowing words. I can see.
You don't know that, but Nirid is on the other side of the
Nirid is on the other
screen.
side, another time yes. So maybe I got too long with the detours with that. Anyway, I think it's interesting, and the fact that it's interesting saying that it's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's not photography, it's something else. I don't see it as something that's competing with photographers.
Yeah, and I just want to be a destination photographer.
I
You
think
probably like to travel, so you would want to go to the destination.
I think you guys are just so sweet and so trusting, and maybe I see some other parts of the industry where people trying to get the cheat codes, and it's like trying to get the fast track. They're not that patient to build a portfolio that way. So I do think we're going to see some interesting ways to accelerate harnessing the power of AI and what that can do for a portfolio, and how the impatience that some photographers can have.
I definitely think that
that's
AI
all
should
I'm
be
going to
kept
say.
in the right hands, and it can do evil things. So,
but in lots of sense, when you have it in portrait photography, right? You have the kid, and then you have the green screen, and people change the background behind. I don't know. For these areas, I see
how AI can actually
get in and help in that field. Yes.
So I do apologize, because even though I've got my phone on silent, with everything Apple, it just makes your computer ring. So there's no way of getting rid of. I'm just such a popular person. Anyway, next question. I think this is a good one to answer at this point. So what is the best reason, the top reason why a photographer should be looking at? So there's going to be lots of people who are here who currently haven't dipped their toes into the water at all. But why should they look at adding AI technology into their businesses at this point?
I don't think it's a decision for a photographer to add AI. The AI is not a purpose for the user. It's a tool. I think they need to add tools that can push them forward and can bring the benefits we talked about, getting them to a more precise work, saving them time, focusing on other stuff, everything that can do. It's for example, if you need an assistant, adding an assistant is not the target, right? You need to get more work done, so you need somebody else to help you. AI or any technology is part of it, I think. And anything that can be automated will be automated. And for us, it's better not to be buried under it, but to climb above it and then do the next thing that is not. There's an Israeli songwriter that wrote something that I really like. It's an analogy for that. He says it's like a debate between science and the religion, and he says, well, you're scientific until you reach the end of what you know, and from there you are religious. So I think that
I don't know that one. I'm trying to translate back to Hebrew.
I'm sweating from trying to translate it into English. But in general, it means that in that sense, I think that the science in that sense is the automation. You don't want to start to be religious before you fulfilled all these automation things. But after that, this is the creativity. This is the human. This is the spiritual thing where you're adding the non-analytical thing that you can add. And I think this is.
I would just add to that I think that many revolutions in life actually change. I mean, we have to change. We are enforced to change, and we actually prefer the old ways. So, I mean, technology enforced us to change, and I mean, people who have done things in a certain way for a long time, they really don't want to change, but they are enforced because the rest of the world is changing. I think that for us today, and I speak specifically about editing in AI. So I think most of photographers would accept it with full heart and both hands, and take it, because I don't know many people who like to do that manually. So maybe because it's quite a new skill, just only for the last 10, 20 years, maybe because it's really tedious and not fun. But I think in this case, everything aligns. Like, it gets you more productive, but also lets you focus on the fun parts.
The fun parts, definitely. So thinking of the fun parts, thinking about cameras. So is there anything preventing camera companies to, I know that they are looking at this to implement an AI model that will actually edit the photos in camera straight away after they're taken. Is that the direction we're going in?
So I think that's part of the perfect workflow, that you actually take a photo, it will be redirected directly to cloud, and from the cloud you can do anything with it. I don't think it will be actually in the camera, because camera is like an hardware which we have to program, and it's much harder than to do that on the camera. But cameras would just have a very fast link to the internet, either with like 3G or Wi-Fi or anything like that. Sorry, 5G. And then everything will happen on the cloud, and you get everything. Everything will be ready for you when you go back to your computer.
But what is the advantage that you have? Let's say it's on the camera, it's in the cloud. This is technicality. Let's say you take a photo and it's automatically it's ready. It's like edited. What's the advantage for that being when you take the photo and you're in the scene rather than seeing it later?
Well, I imagine for like news and sports photographers, there's huge advantages. Obviously not so much with weddings and events where there's this kind of, people like to have some breathing space between the event and delivery of images. But I can imagine for someone covering news events that having some sort of finished, fully edited photo, maybe with celebrity photography as well, and looking at, we're so used to seeing phone pictures.
But the question is, if it's in the camera, the only advantage that it is in the camera that you took the photo and now you can look and see it, right? Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Like if it takes, let's say 1 second, then you finished your session, you whether it's Wi-Fi to the computer and it's ready. What does it give you? The fact that it's on the camera, the advantage that I see is that you took the photo and then you can see really the fine tunes of that. That's the big advantage.
Yeah, but it eliminates the need for the computer. If you were a war photographer or you're out somewhere photographing, you're not in a studio in a controlled environment, you've not got a computer nearby, so it's like, but you still want, you could use your phone to transmit that image straight away to anywhere in the world, but fully retouched or edited or whatever.
I think a problem, just
finessing you like to do. Oh, I think I know what's happened. So
we can also open this one, this camera.
Yeah. And we're gonna, I think, naturally kind of move on to questions from people who have been watching and joined us as well. So it's very kindly being curated by Scott. So thank you, Scott. He's done super well. So I'm just gonna, quick look, there's quite a few. So thank you for sent them in. So
first of all,
pick this one. I can hear you, so we can just continue chatting.
The technicians in the world are just operating this now. Okay, so we'll just open this camera. Oh, very good.
It's proof that we're 100% live and we're not robots. So there we go. So I've been asked a question. So one other question, using Imagen for wedding photography, would you advise to make different profiles for different parts of the day, or is Imagen smart enough to differentiate the distinct styles? So maybe different editing for dark interiors, midday sun, nighttime, sparklers, disco dancing, whatever it is that you're doing? And will it apply one style across all of those, or should they be creating different profiles?
No, just kidding. So basically, we recommend, like, if you think your editing style is consistent between the different lighting conditions, so indoor, outdoor, different seasonalities, different sceneries, then keep it one profile. And we think that this would be the most productive for you, so you don't have to actually choose a different profile for each part of your project. If you actually have a different editing style for each part, then you should separate the profiles and create different profiles for each. Now, each profile requires a couple of thousands of photos. So it all depends if you have that number of photos for each different option. What we saw works best is for people to just build one profile for each genre. So if you're a wedding photographer and a portrait photographer, build one profile for weddings, one profile for portraits. And in most of the cases, once you feed the profile with enough photos, the AI can actually understand the scenario, can understand whether it's outdoor, indoor, it's daylight or night, and find the right edit accordingly.
Okay, great. And that leads on to what Genevieve has asked as well, is how do we train the AI to edit how we want it to? Obviously, we don't do the training.
We try to make it as simple as possible and, avoid anything too technical. So what you need to do is just find the Lightroom catalogs you worked on. It could be a couple of catalogs or just one catalog, depending on your workflow. And just select the folders in that catalog that you want to use to teach the AI. So select, and you need at least 3,000 photos. Find these photos that you are really proud of and you think you're edited really consistently and well, and send it to us, and the AI will do the rest, capture everything from these photos, create a profile that can actually edit like you. And as the next step, once you start editing with the profile, you get it back to Lightroom, you fine-tune everything, and once you're satisfied, you send it back to us. So the profile keeps learning and keeps learning to accurately mimic your style.
So you should eventually see that you get a lot less tweaks that you have to make yourself, because it is learning. It learns from you. So you just get into that. I just got into the habit. Every time I go to start a new one, I just send the other one back first, and it's nicely set up in the interface as well. So anyone who's not tried that yet, it's just a really good habit that you can get into. Okay, so Ivan has asked, Ivan and Ivana. Wow, that's brilliant. Do you upload the profiles you already use in Lightroom to Imagen? So how does it work if I switch between a few profiles depending on the situation? So again, in that similar area.
Can you repeat the question? I'm not sure that I understand it.
So it's Ivana saying, do you upload the profiles you already use? So someone who's a brand new user, I guess, that they are looking at, is that the onus on her to upload them into Lightroom to begin with? So I think she's thinking, does she have to put her presets into Imagen in some way? And then what happens if I switch between
If I understood the question
profiles?
correctly, so you take catalogs that you already edited and you upload them at the beginning to just build a profile initially. That's a process you do once per profile. So finding the right 3,000 photos or more photos that are consistently edited and you already manually edited them before, you upload these, we build the profile, and then once you start using Imagen and editing with us and do the final tweaks, once you get the results, you send back the edited catalogs. So again, this profile can keep becoming better and better.
Okay. So an interesting question from Julia, and I know that in my community, when we started a discussion on this a few days ago, because I was curious to see what other photographers thought, these AI autistic apps, so talking about Midjourney and Lensa, what are your feelings on those and what their implications are for the industry, I would imagine? So thank you, Julia.
So you mean about generative AI or?
Yeah, so we're already starting to see images generated with AI appearing on people's Instagram grids who maybe would purely have had photography on there before.
So again, I
What are
think
your
that
feelings?
it will take a long time until people would actually use this kind of technology for the real photos, for anything which is related to how they document and use it for the real life, for the important events in life. I might be wrong, but I think that people will still want to cherish the moments and not giving it to a more imaginary AI.
Alternative reality.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are starting to see it. Maybe we're not following the same people. Not too sure. Okay, so let's go on to a couple of these are great questions, by the way. So Arga is asking, why did Pic-Time choose to develop marketing automations? How can photographers keep their unique touch while using, or if we all use the same strategies?
So the uniqueness, we decided we wanted to develop we went to develop the marketing because we feel that there's a lot of potential for the photographers, business potential for the photographers post-shoot, after they shoot the photos, and just putting the photos in the gallery and having an amazing store doesn't mean that people have it in their mind and are being aware of their abilities. The marketing automation is something to say, I have I'll go back. And in the past, photographers, you had a session, you handed the photos, your relationship with your clients more or less ended at that time. The online basically enables you to extend your relationship with your customers way beyond. We have people that access galleries 3, 4, 5 years after the gallery was uploaded. So the whole concept is enabling the photographers to create a long-term relationship with the clients. On the other hand, when we talk about automation now, what does it mean to maintain this relationship? The photographer doesn't want to call this client all the time, right? So basically, it's a container the client can come to. But then, when you do want to engage and to offer some possibilities that you will benefit as a photographer from, you need marketing. This is called marketing, right? Making people aware of all kinds of capabilities. And the marketing automation enables photographer to build different business strategies in order to fulfill their business needs. So, for example, offering clients anniversary gifts a year later and so on. The uniqueness of you is to a level in that sense. So the automation in that, the automation tools gives us, you can personalize the emails. We know how this personalization, it's not really like you write the email to someone, but it is, you can put your own tone. We added a lot of tools, and we are working on additional tools in this area to make it more personal. So for example, ads will always be placed with the photo that a person likes. So if I was in an event and I like specific photos, I will get marketing emails or communication with these photos placed in different conversion call to actions. So the marketing automation for us is a major component that helps photographers fulfill the best of their photos. This is what we're trying to achieve. To help photographers maximize the post-shooting business potential of their photos.
Okay, so Brandon has got a question about Pic-Time as well. So just curious about turnaround times. Is there going to be options for delayed post with Pic-Time? So sometimes I feel when I turn around 700 plus images in 2 to 3 days, he has mixed feelings, wondering if my clients ever think that was quick. I wish I would have spent more time editing, or what are thoughts around turnaround? Brandon, I can answer that for you. You need to use the automation that I use, which can create a delayed delivery. So I think people, so Amir, this would be great for you to talk about. I don't think that all users are aware of the power of those automations and how they can give a really nice delivery experience for your client and sort of free you up as well, so you're not having to keep going back to it. So there's a certain amount of automation already in place there. And I use one called Rolling Publish, which Ben Heish developed, I believe. And it lets you, so I'm like you, Brandon, I'm super fast at editing. I can't wait to get it over and done with, but I don't want to deliver it. And like you say, kind of underwhelm my client. So Rolling Publish lets you do like a preview. So one of your scenes can be a preview, and then you can send a couple more emails and then final delivery, and you can spread that out as long as you like, really. But Amir's going to tell you more about it, because that's my layman terms about it. But it's
so
really
definitely do not spend more time on editing because you don't want your client to think too fast. I don't think that would be the answer for that. But yeah, so I think that do whatever you do as fast as you can. There is a fine line between delivering it the next day, everything, which yes leads to somebody to think that it wasn't you didn't invest much in it. Versus, I'll give you an example. My nephew was married 3 months ago and he didn't get the photos yet. Okay, so this is the other side of but delivery-wise, we saw that it is very effective not to deliver. Why are you laughing at me? What did I do now? I'm being laughed at all the time. So we saw that delivery is it's very good not to deliver all, like you say, overwhelm the people, your clients with all the photos. It's very good to deliver some highlights, a preview, sneak peek, and then release more. It requires you for more work because you need to deliver and then deliver again and so on. And Lisa mentioned one of the things that we do with the automation is enabling you fulfill this strategy of loading everything, you're ready, load everything, and then you can create a schedule where you deliver something, let's say a slideshow that runs for a few days and then open up more photos and so on. So around this area, there's we have a few things, and we're working on additional things of what is the right path to deliver the content to somebody and to maximize the experience they have from the photos.
I have one more also about it. So we also get this, I mean, around this subject, and I think that's fascinating that, you know, people are used to wait, and we want to keep them waiting just
in order not to
think that we are not like investing enough time.
This guy is working 3 months on my photos, and
exactly.
You're like
every day from like 9 to 5.
Yes.
So I think, and one idea that I really liked, I think it was Sam Hertz, that he actually offers an express service. He charges more for that.
Yes.
So that's something that if you do everything very quick and you do want to deliver everything quickly, maybe you can also market that, you know.
So first
if you want an express service.
So Sam Hertz has also an app that we have this app in the system that basically it's similar to the publish. It has some phase where there's automated email that goes to the client saying, started working on your photos, it's progressing, like giving some attention, so you don't have to deal with that. It's going, and then the photos, and again with this split delivery. So yeah, it is right that today people are the anchor is that you have to wait months in order to get the photo. So if you're delivering everything quicker, it may be perceived differently. But I think if you're dividing it into a few rounds, it's much better. Also, online engagement wise, it's much better.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there's a sweet spot, isn't there? Because there's, nobody wants to wait months, but also, I see what Brandon's saying. You don't want to appear as if it was no hard work for you either. And obviously, we all charge a fairly decent amount of money for what we do.
I'll tell you,
So
a week, 2 weeks after the event, more people will look into the photos, whether it's coming through, if in comparison to 3 months later. Okay, 3 months later, a lot of people got it out.
but yeah, this is it. 2 weeks after you got married, people are still asking you, are your photos back yet? Have you seen the photos? 3 months after your wedding, nobody cares anymore. Nobody's asking you that. So in terms of marketing and maximizing potential profit for the photographer, I think there is a sweet spot where you are delivering. I try and do it as soon as they come back from honeymoon. They're still buzzing. They're still on cloud 9. When I send over from the rolling publish, I do the slideshow first, and then a couple of days later, the full gallery. But the nice thing is those automations are sending communications to the client all of the time. So it looks like I'm giving them a really personal service when I'm running around town having those frappuccinos. And it also means that you don't have to go back and revisit it. So it's like you put it all in one go, Brandon, and that's it. You don't have to go back. So if you're fast, get it all ready, and then it drips out. And if you're really clever like Sam Herb, yes, start charging that premium for people who are impatient and do want it faster. And I think it's interesting that this is how Imagen began, was this lovely romantic story about your wedding.
Actually, it was your house wedding. I can say as a customer of a wedding photographer that I didn't even think that editing takes so long. So you don't really think that if they deliver it faster, then they didn't invest time in that. I mean, you just forget about it. You don't know why it takes so long, but if you're not going into details, you don't know that editing takes so much time. So, that's that customer.
Not anymore, it doesn't. All right, well, I think we've gone just over the hour, so it's been utterly fascinating. But one sort of last question, a couple of people have skirted around this, and Held has asked this, is will there be an option where Imagen will send the edited pictures for me as JPEG straight into my Pic-Time gallery? So there's another beautiful marriage.
We actually started speaking about that. We don't know, actually. We would love to, I don't know if we have any option to ask the listeners, but if people would actually want to skip the reviewing part of the raw photos and actually export them directly without even looking at the edited photos, how many of the people would actually trust us with I would say closed eyes to send it straight to Pic-Time? So I don't know if we have an option for a poll like that here. If not, it would be really interesting to do that in our communities later.
Yeah. Although of going back to the to the step before, but it's ready for you and you just click publish. Yes. Yeah. So
and then below is the slideshow.
Yes. One of the things. Good to have Nirit reminding us. So, should be there, you idiots.
Nirit is with you.
Well, Scott
come here, show your face. It's just. Anyway, so for example, it can, you can get into Pic-Time with all the rating labels, tags from Lightroom, and then use them either to automatically favorite your photos, so it will create preference with our automated engine of photo rating. If it was Chinese for some people, it will keep on because we don't have time to explain. But it's all the engine that kind of estimating which photos are better and promotes for each person the right photos. So you can influence that with let's say tag in Lightroom and get soon maybe from Imagen, then automatically tunnel it to this. You can automatically create highlights based on the culling. So there's all kinds of things that the integration can bring.
And so it will be. No, I was standing from the side all the time.
Now you can laugh at her.
No, it was really great. I just wanted to say that it's like
Relax.
it will all. You were great. Like the position was like as if you are really relaxed.
Yes.
Like all the things that we went through before. It was really good.
Yeah. Now I'm sitting like that because I'm nervous. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Scott has put up a couple of polls for us running in the webinar. So the first one is, would you trust AI to choose and send directly to Pic-Time? And overwhelmingly the answer is no.
Okay, we cancel the integration.
I would no, the integration is great.
stops
Just
on the
you
Lightroom.
need like the touch point before, like
Yeah.
to do the,
Yeah,
you
selections.
talked about all the time, not just the selection, the human touch, all this thing.
Mhm.
So it did it. You're doing your little like end tweaks, and then
No, but actually the
Can all
integration
go.
is stopping in Lightroom for the
Yeah,
approval.
for the reviewing,
Yeah,
approval, and
yeah,
then sending it.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
we. will
But it's
send
nice
it.
that you listened.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we used to say the same thing about our edits, and look at that now. The other poll we got running is, are you excited about AI and automation in photography? And that one is an overwhelming yes. It is 80% of people are excited about automation. So whether they've tried it previously and they're along for the ride, because every time you guys bring out a new feature, it's like, ooh, that's fun. So I like the new one, which will exclude any previous edits that you've already done. So thank you for that one. So if you've gone in and you've done some sneak peeks, now Imagen recognizes that and it won't overwrite your edits. So that was a nice one. We've got 13% of people in that poll who are undecided. So we haven't changed their minds over the past hour. But hopefully we've demystified quite a few things around AI and the excitement and possibilities of where that's going to go with post-gallery delivery as well, and with Pic-Time and with sales, because that's what it's all about really, isn't it? Getting the sales in after all. There's no point if you're not making decent money from it. But yeah, that was utterly fascinating, and thank you ever so much. Thanks for having me.
So you're
Thank you,
great.
Scott,
We
for
love you. Thank you.
And we didn't feel it was your first time.
Yeah, and just a message for the undecided: we are here for the long run, so it's okay. No pressure. We're here.
And lots of people are asking if this has been recorded and if they can watch a replay. So Scott has also taken care of that for us, because we would never have figured that out. So thank you. So nice to see you, Nurit. So nice to see you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.